What's up, PMPBeta? I am TehRaquaza2094. You guys may remember me from my battle with Colonel Sanders that was on here. You may not. It's completely up to you if you decide to make me memorable. But right here I have an OU match with SuperSaiyanScraggy. This is definitely going to be a lot better match than the one I uploaded previously. The one I uploaded previously probably wasn't the best, like in battle-wise and narration-wise, so I do apologize for that. Give me a second chance. I promise not to disappoint. And also, interesting fact about this battle, it will have a custom background. The only problem is, with these custom backgrounds, it takes everything that's green and makes it part of the background. So some Pokemon got really transparent, like the Politoed and Tornadus. And other Pokemon, like the Ninetales, have a little bit of transparency because they obviously have a little bit of green in their sprite color. And it also messes with HP bars, but you can always see the HP bars based on how much white is showing. And also when it turns to yellow and red, it changes back to a normal HP bar. Let's get this match started though. So as I mentioned, I'm facing SuperSaiyanScraggy. It's a Sun versus Rain team. He's going to lead off with Tornadus. I'm going to lead off with Genesect. You're seeing right now the transparent effect, of course. I do apologize for it, but hopefully it won't be a bother. And so, first turn, I'm going to go ahead and U-turn. Obviously, since he switched, he's not Scarfed, so that really helps me out right there. Having his Tornadus T not Scarfed, because if it was Scarfed, that thing would have wrecked Train with me. And so I'm going to bring in Ninetales and go for the Energy Ball. And basically, do a fairly decent amount of damage to this Politoed. Guessing it's probably especially defensive and vested. Of course, Ninetales doesn't have the greatest special attack, even with a life or a boost, so I can't really judge on that. And basically, he's going to put in the Parasol. I bring in my Blissey, because it's a pretty solid counter to this Politoed. And he's going to bring in Latias, and I'm actually going to predict him bringing in something else, so I go for the switch. Get a special attack raise. That means he has some defensive investment in this Latias, which could be problematic later on in the match. I'm going to go ahead and bring in my Landorus T though, because I'm hoping he's going to fall for the fact that I may be Choice Scarfed, and you don't want to be taking a massive amount of attack stat even from a U-turn. So I'm going to go ahead and go for the Stealth Rocks, then I'm going to switch out into Ninetales, to just threaten out this Skarmory, and he actually pulls a double switch here back into his Latias, which is not exactly the most favorable matchup right now, due to the fact that, what if he has Surf? What if he has anything that could do lots of damage to me? So, I'm guessing he assumed I was going to attack anyway, maybe with an HP Ice or something. And so I bring in Blissey. He's going to bring in Politoed, maybe Parasol, maybe Toxic. Even if he Toxic'd me though, I do have Aromatherapy, so I could have gotten rid of it. Of course, with Blissey, Natural Cure, I could have switched out and gotten rid of it, but I didn't need to switch out if I didn't have to. So I'm going to go for Softball, thinking maybe he's going to go for Attack or something. Wasn't really sure at this point. And he's going to bring in his Mamoswine and predict my switch into the Landorus. Either that or he was going for nice neutral damage, as he may not have superpower. There's a chance of that too. And now I'm going to bring in Terrakion, because I know Terrakion's easily going to threaten him out. And I'm going to actually predict his switch into Latias, and fortunately I hit this Stone Edge. Look at all that damage. Clearly I'm a Choice Banded set. That's what I'm going to do. And now I'm going to bring in Genesect, as he's probably going to switch out, chances are, into his Skarmory. Of course he has the Rain up, so this really doesn't help. And actually a little bit later in the match I do forget that the Rain's up, and you'll see when. But not to spoil anything, I go for the Flamethrower because I knew at least it would do good damage to Skarmory, even with the Rain up. And so I'm going to go ahead and switch out into my Blissey, as my Blissey is also a solid Gastrodon counter. Even if the Gastrodon has Earthquake, it can't outright OHKO me. And right here I'm a little bit surprised that he is going to switch out. He could have Toxic'd me, but he's going to decide to bring in Mamoswine, as Mamoswine is the key threat against me, against my Blissey. It's probably the only thing that's stopping my Blissey from raping. So, I'm gonna have to sack something else, which is my Donphan that is meant to confuse opponents and make it think that it's the Stealth Rocker when it's not. Landorus T, as you saw, is my Stealth Rocker. And I went for the Ice Shard in the event that he didn't go for the Ice Shard, but he must have thought maybe I had it, or for whatever reason, maybe he thought he was slower. He shouldn't have been, of course, because Donphan's pretty slow. And now I'm gonna bring in Genesect. He's basically gonna go ahead and go for the Ice Shard here just to get off some damage. And, well, you know, KO himself, which is bad because he gets to see what move I was going to choose to lock myself into. And he sees it's U-turn, which is really bad because guess what? Tornadus T gets a free switch in, which is not good. So I'm going to have to switch out here and go into Blissey, as Blissey's a fairly solid counter except for the fact that he has superpower. That superpower does a lot. Like, whoa, that took out probably at least like 7/8 of Blissey's health right there. That's insane. So I definitely don't want to be taking another superpower with Blissey, because I might need Blissey later in the match, as a lot of things that I want toxic aren't toxic yet, so I definitely need Blissey alive. And I'm going to bring in Genesect, because Genesect is threatening enough. I get the attack boost, which is going to help me do a lot of damage to this Gastrodon, which comes in handy, because guess what? Bringing in Blissey, gonna heal up, because I know he's gonna be healing, because he's not gonna want to be unhealed, obviously. He's gonna switch out here into Tornadus to, of course, you know, superpower threaten me out, and I believe that I pretty much almost recover all my health. And right here, I'm like, nah, do I want to take a superpower? Whatever. I really don't care at this point. And he is going to switch into Gastrodon, and as you saw, that is the part I was talking about. I forgot I didn't have Sun Up, so I thought Flamethrower would do a decent chunk. Not going to be the case. I clearly forgot I had the Sun Up at this point, and he reminded me in battle. He's like, you don't have the Sun Up. I'm like, oh crap. So I'm going to Toxic the Gastrodon, as the Gastrodon's going to recover, because it sees an opportunity to recover. Gotten one of the two things that I want Toxic'd. Now he's going to bring in Latias. Here's going to be the second thing that I want Toxic. Again, I'm forgetting the sun is not up for whatever reason, because I decided not to look at the bottom screen carefully. And so he's going to bring in Latias. And right here I get the second thing I want Toxic. With Latias being Toxic and Gastrodon being Toxic, they can't set up a wall on me. Which is, you know, great, because that means I keep the momentum in my favor. Once again, I decide to maybe predict he might go for like a Psyshock or something, so I go for a Soft Boil. And again, forgetting the sun is not on my side, and that is the point that he decided to remind me. You know the sun's not on your side, right? Because you've fired off 3 flamethrowers. I'm like, oh jeez, why am I not paying attention? So I decided to bring in Terrakion, because, you know, Choice Band Terrakion's going to be doing a lot to anything on his team at this point. Because really the only thing that could effectively take a close combat are both Tornadus and Latias, and both of them I'm pretty sure would be 2-hit KO'd, or maybe like, you know, possibly clean O-code with poison damage and or Stealth Rock damage in the case of Tornadus. So I'm going to switch here, and obviously he's going to predict this, not to mention that superpower at this point is going to hit everything neutrally. So I figured Blissey probably was the best thing to take this, and at this point, it's at this point that I decide I don't need Blissey anymore. I can do this without Blissey. I believe in myself. So I'm going to just let Blissey die to the Hurricane. And, you know, just go ahead and bring in a safe switch in. So Blissey was death fodder at this point, which is okay, because, you know, between Genesect, Terrakion, and Ninetales, I should be able to pull this off. So I'm going to go for the Ice Beam. It does a nice chunk to Skarmory, but doesn't quite do what I want it to do on that second hit. So he roosts up, which is highly dissatisfying, and I could have probably outstalled him and maybe taken him out, but that is not a good idea at this point. So I'm going to switch in Ninetales just to get the sun up and force him to go ahead and switch in his Politoed, possibly, or whatever he wants to decide to switch in. He is going to switch in his Latias at this point. And I'm like, psh, I'm not afraid of Latias. Unfortunately, I thought maybe he might leave Skarmory in, so I decided to go for Will-O-Wisp, just on the off chance he did. But since he didn't, I'm going to bring in TehRaquaza as he's going to switch out into Politoed, which is probably something that he should have not switched out into, honestly, because now I'm at an advantage here. I have a Choice Band TehRaquaza in, and look at how much damage this does to Latias. Look at how much. And because he's running defensive bulk, I knew that I would outspeed him. And at this point, I was like, I need a safe switch into Genesect most likely. And so might as well just go close combating. And I managed to take out the Latias. Yes! So happy. Because I got rid of basically a thing that was really annoying to me. So now he pretty much has me, but I pretty much have him, because he can't safely use a move without me having a safe counter in, which is nice, but obviously I'm losing something, which is going to put me at a disadvantage with the 2-0. And he's going to switch out into Politoed here, and the nice thing is I decided to go for Ice Beam, and it does a nice chunk. And I know since he only has one layer of spikes, one single layer of spikes, I don't have to worry about bringing in Ninetales and then bringing in Genesect later on. He's going to go for the Parasong, which is completely fine. Let him go for that Parasong. I don't care, because at this point the match is mine. I decided to go for the Fire Blast. If he decided to bring in Tornadus for whatever reason, which he could have, but obviously Politoed was dead on the next switch in anyway, so that wouldn't have made much sense. And now at this point, even had he hit the Hurricane, because he knew a Hurricane was going to be pretty much probably the only thing that's going to take me out if he's not invested in attack that much, because Superpower probably wouldn't have taken me out. And so he went ahead and tried for the Hurricane, missed, Fire Blast for the win. Had he even hit the Hurricane though, I could have brought in Genesect and Flamethrower abused right there. Genesect set is a Solar Beam Sunset, so I'm thinking about switching that, because Thunderbolt would have been so much more useful in this battle. But I hope you guys enjoyed this battle. Come check me out, that'd be great. Check out SuperSaiyanScraggy too, because he's a great opponent, and he's going to get back into uploading, which is great. So yeah, check us both out, that'd be great, and thank you Pokemoshpitbeta.